All right, we are live. Made a couple improvements to the stream today. There'll be better audio, and I've actually improved the font on Emacs, made it a lot bigger, so that'll be a lot easier to read if you're on a smartphone or a smart device. Today we'll listen to Blood and Sacrifice by Undersaken along with slower pace, and we'll go ahead and get that started. Cool. So today what we'll go ahead and work on is adding a hook that will be triggered every time you toggle dark mode on and off in Emacs Pure GTK. Emacs Pure GTK is a build of Emacs that runs on Wayland, and it's the ideal way to run Emacs on Wayland. And recently I implemented the ability to respect the dark mode of GNOME. But after I did that and that was merged to master, I got some feedback that people would actually like a hook that is triggered every time dark mode is toggled on and off. One issue is that dark mode is implemented on different operating systems and different toolkits separately. I didn't see any code when I was implementing dark mode on GTK4 that would hook this up to Windows or something like that. So let's go ahead and just try to implement this for straight up GTK4 first, and then we can look into later making it more of a universal thing for other operating systems, but I just don't think that should be the priority up front. So let me go ahead and open up my previous patch. Okay. So this is the patch I sent over that turned on dark mode. Lots of if-def statements and lots of G-object code. That's sort of how Emacs C is written. So what we're going to have to do is go ahead and call Lisp from Emacs C. I have not done this before. So we'll be using some LLMs to help us out, just to ensure that we can find things very quickly, because I am also new to the Emacs C codebase, and the last patch was my first patch to the Emacs C codebase. So we'll go ahead and actually get started with Claude. How do I call Emacs Lisp C code? Lisp code from Emacs, from the Emacs C codebase. Is there anything else I want to add to that prompt? How do I call Emacs C loads from the Emacs codebase? Let's get started with that. Interesting. So it looks like you have to reference a message function symbol. Interesting. I wonder how I get that though. Do they actually represent where QMessage comes from? Okay. How would I get an object like QMessage? How would I create it? I am trying to create a new Emacs Lisp hook to be called from dark mode. This is interesting. So you have to do a def sim. All right, where we want to do that def sim? interesting. Okay, we have the lay of the land. So why don't we actually switch over to Claude Code. Let me go ahead and also increase the font here. No font. We'll call it monospace. And I think we want it around 20. Should be good. Preferences, monospace 20. Oh, there we go. Cool. So I'm going to go to source Emacs. We'll do Claude. Okay, cool. Let's see where we would want to put this. We don't want to put it in get system dark mode. Set initial dark mode, update dark mode for all displays is probably where we put it. Okay. What file is that located in? GTK util C. Okay. In source GTK util C, there is a function xg update dark mode for all displays. Create a new Emacs Lisp hook called, okay, so this part's the hard part. We'll call it dark mode hook. Desktop environment, dark mode toggle, maybe dark mode toggle hook. You know, I wonder in Emacs if there is a hook that's has like Windows or Linux or something in it. Hook. Yeah, because I feel like if we just put dark mode hook, that could not necessarily refer to the operating system or the desktop environment. That could refer to anything, and I think that's a little vague. But maybe we can just refactor that later and not get too hung up on the naming of it. Okay, cool. Let's just create a new Emacs Lisp hook called dark mode toggle hook and have that called from the aforementioned function. Okay. In source GTK util C, there is a function xg update dark mode for all displays. Create a new Emacs Lisp hook called dark mode toggle and have that called from the aforementioned function. Okay, cool, we'll do that. Before we do that though, I realize I probably have not pulled from the latest master, so let me go ahead and do that. Okay, cool. Cool. I'm gonna make J16, make sure I'm running, oh wait, okay. So on NixOS, I have to actually set up the development environment, right? Okay, cool. So what I do is I type nix develop, and nix package is Emacs PGTK. Awesome, so now I'm in the develop environment. So let me go ahead and do make J16. J16 stands for the amount of processors I have, so it will go ahead and parallelize things where possible. It's a lot slower if you don't do that. Well, it has to compile a lot. So while we're doing that, why don't we go ahead and check out where all the kind of, oh, never mind, it's done. Okay, cool. So we're going to go ahead and do source Emacs Q, which is how you boot Emacs without necessarily loading the init file. Okay, cool. Looks good. And as you can see, my dark mode stuff is working here. If I was to toggle this, where is it? It works, right? So that's what I implemented last time I sent a patch. So now with this working, we want to go ahead and let Claude do a first draft of this. And we're going to probably have to iterate on this draft because Claude doesn't always write the cleanest code, but this will be a good first draft. Okay, cool. In source GTK util C, there's a function xg update dark mode for all displays. Create a new Emacs Lisp code called dark mode toggle hook and have that called from the aforementioned function. Cool. While it's doing that, I want to kind of see the lay of the land on where else do dark modes come up? Like, I know there's a Windows dark mode, but where would that be? What would that look like? Okay, check this out. There's a defined dark mode app name Dark Mode Explorer. So, look at this. WT dark mode and WT follow system dark mode. Interesting. So where's that function at? WT apply theme. Interesting. Applies the Windows system theme. It's interesting because I didn't use that terminology when I implemented mine. I didn't say that it was a theme. I just said it was dark mode, and I did that intentionally because I felt theming has a different implication than just dark mode, right? Like a dark mode is a theme, and sometimes that term is used, but the toggling of dark mode to me is just not a changing of a theme. That's why I didn't use that terminology. However, if the Windows 32 part of the code base is, I think that's relevant. All right, let's see what Claude's up to. Cool. All right, so Claude's running through. Let's see, did it do anything interesting? All right. You know, one mistake we did is we didn't start Claude with the appropriate Nix package development environment, so we might need to tell it to do that. And I'll just have to say Emacs, let's paste this over. Oh, once again, I think I forgot to start that I was working on this, right? So let me go ahead and do org clock in. And we probably started, let's say, on 15. Actually, I can probably tell them, check for my YouTube, right? It's not clear. Okay, cool. We started here. Another thing is, I went ahead and made a streaming org file with like the improvements we're making per stream, so better audio, larger fonts, and then I'll be able to check these off once we're done. Yesterday's Lispy:"P was checked off, closed out, and that is how I'm keeping track of all the work. Let's take a look at what Lispy's doing here. Dark mode toggle hook and nil-p f-bound hook safe run hooks. You know, Emacs C code is written in this very, very Lispy style, and it's a little hard to get used to. It's weird because it's like a Lispy style because most of the initial authors were Lispers, like RMS, but then they also have GObject on there on the GTK part of the code base. Okay, let's see what Claude did. Added the hook definition in frame EL, created a new variable called dark mode toggle hook that will be run when the system dark mode setting changes, modified source GTK utlc, added code to the lambda to the extreme function. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and review what Claude did and see if we if that's good. Oops, I'm not in the right place. Okay. Let's see, did it create? How many files did it create? It didn't create anything. That's nice. Okay, cool. So it does Lisp mode. It turns into intern. I think that's also, I don't think that's a C thing. That's a Lisp thing. That's where you make a symbol. You take like a string and you can kind of turn it into like a symbol in Lisp. Cool. So you check if it's F bound. If it's F bound and it's not nil, you do a safe run hooks. And we'll see what that function is. Okay, cool. So hook run when the system dark mode setting changes. This hook is called from GTK when the system ride dark mode preference changes. Okay, cool. This was not a bad first draft by Claude, and it seems like it was pretty simple. Out of curiosity, how many hooks are in this file? Because sometimes Claude puts things in a wrong weirdo spot. You see def var. So look, you also have other things too, right? Def var, focus, and hook. So this looks like this might be the right spot. I don't know if it should be in frame, because remember, this is also, at this point in time, GTK specific is how we're doing the first implementation, but it's possible we want to make this generic so Windows can call it. Oh, and you know, this code is simple enough, we can probably implement it on Windows fairly quickly. Okay, cool. So let's see, is there anything else here? I want to see what safe run hooks looks like. That seems like an interesting function, right? Okay, cool. Know anything better than that? I'm guessing it's all in the name, right? Is it safely runs a hook? Okay, cool. That was pretty simple. So let's do a make. All right, it's recompiling. Awesome. Cool. Started fine. Awesome. How do I want to do this? Okay. I want to do test.el. As you can see, this is some of the work we did yesterday. Okay, cool. Add hook. I'm trying to think if I just want to run my normal Emacs, because things are kind of annoying when you have to. Yeah, that's fine. Dark mode toggle hook. And then we just got to do a lambda message changed. Okay. Then we can do eval buffer. Mixing lexical binding cookie. Interesting. Looks like I have to add lexical binding to this thing. Okay, that's fine. Must be a thing in the latest version. I don't actually run master as much as I should. I think I need to start changing that, because I am contributing to master and it's kind of fucked up to, excuse my French, kind of messed up to not be running the code base that you're contributing to. You got to dog food it, right? All right, let's try this again. Okay, cool. Awesome. Let's see if this works. Oh, there we go. See, although it should have changed, should message have set changed 4 times. This is updating lazily. Okay. 12. It's hitting it twice every time. That's a problem, right? You don't want to hit twice every time. Okay, let's see where Emacs or Claude put things again, and we might need to update dark mode for all displays. It's not in the for loop. I wonder why it would hit it twice. Let's debug with Claude. XG update dark mode for all displays appears to be hit twice on per dark mode toggle. Why might this be? Okay. It's funny when you're on a new Emacs without your config loaded, it's just everything kind of feels bad. Oh, you know what? I might have simply... one thing I do when I'm working with Claude is I'll go ahead and stage the changes it made that I already liked, just in case it messes things up. But you know what? I probably added this hook twice, so let me go ahead and save and try this out again. I think that's exactly what happened. See, that's an interesting kinds of bugs you run into when you do Emacs development. Okay, cool. Okay. Eval buffer. Awesome. Messages. Yeah, I'm really awkward on this. All right, cool. So let's try this out again. Okay, it only does it once. Cool. All right, so that was actually really quick. So since it was so quick, I wonder if we should go back to that Win32 setup and see if we can go ahead and switch things up a little bit. Okay, apply theme. Oh, shoot. So I did make one mistake. I'll show you what I did. I have a script that automatically cleans up white space. So I need to do this. I'll show you how I undo things though. Undo tree visualize. I'm gonna go all the way back. Cool. And then I need to remove hook. And before save hook, do not use a buffer local binding because it's a universal hook. And see, there's one called white space cleanup. I need to remove that. Okay, cool. So now, if I do this all over again, should be good. Cool, see, it's only here. Let's go ahead and sanity check that we can compile fine. Okay, cool. Looks like it actually realized it's probably not going to even try to compile this file. It's a WT32 file. I might need to just Hail Mary that one. Yeah, I think I'm going to Hail Mary that one, send that in, and tell them I have not tested on Windows. I think it's a reasonable thing to do, right? Let's revisit the naming, by the way, now that this is a little bit more mature. I think dark mode toggle hook stands the test right here, because look, even though the function is called apply theme, they use the term dark mode throughout this. So I think it's something I'll take up with the Emacs maintainer patch, or the Emacs maintainers, and see if they're okay with it. So what we're gonna do is let's create a new branch. And then I will call it off master, and then this one will be called dark mode toggle hook. Cool. You know what I realized I did not do is, although you can toggle doesn't tell you which one it is, right? If it's dark mode or light mode, and that would be half the battle, is making sure that we know which one it is. Okay, cool. Let's debug with Claude. Let me see. Set window theme. Okay, so let me go ahead and see passing arguments to Emacs hooks. Okay. Okay. If a hook variable's name does not end with hook, that indicates it's an abnormal hook. These differ from normal hooks in two ways. They can be called one or more arguments, and their return values can be used in some way. The hook documentation says the functions are called and how they return values. Any functions added to an abnormal hook must follow that hook's calling convention. Fair enough, right? Okay, cool. Let's turn dark mode toggle hook into an abnormal hook that takes dark mode as an argument. If light mode is set, or I should say, if dark mode is, if light mode is set, the var dark mode would be nil. Okay, let's turn dark mode toggle hook into an abnormal hook that takes dark mode as an argument. If light mode is set, the var dark mode would be nil. Let's try that out. Cool. All right, it is done. Awesome. Let's check this out. Okay, abnormal hook. Functions on this hook are called with one argument, not nil, if dark mode is enabled. Okay, truthy. That's fine. Interesting. So abnormal hooks are not run with safe run hooks. So it creates a Lisp object. Check this out in context. Okay. Args 0 hook. Okay, it declares Lisp object of args. The first one is the hook, which we in turn as dark mode toggle, and then the second one we do dark mode t if at qt up true nil. Interesting. That's the right move. Okay, I got it. Now remember when we read the documentation here, what it say? It says it's probably an abnormal hook. That's interesting. It doesn't have, it doesn't, we'll probably ask the maintainers about this, but if I need to not end in hook if it's an abnormal hook, yeah, I think we'll pick that up with the maintainers because it says that indicates it's probably an abnormal hook. It might not be, but yeah, I think we'll take it up with the maintainers because that one seems a little bit tricky of how we want to name something that is an abnormal hook that takes lots of variables, right? Specifically in this case, it's going ahead and taking Dark mode. Okay, cool. Awesome. Let's go ahead and make cool. Let me go ahead and make sure string does what I think it does. Might not be it, right? Let me see. I actually forget how to specifically convert truthy to strings in Emacs Lisp. How do I convert a nil truthy value to a string? Because I got a mess. If I'm going to use message, I'm going to have to do that. Last I checked, at least. Okay, cool. Simple name. That should work. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and eval buffer. Oops, I probably... Okay, cool. True. Yeah, that's correct. Nil. Awesome. So it looks like we have that working just as we'd like it. Let's go ahead and port that back to the Windows place. All right. You know, in Meow, I should be able to just do comma and get the paragraph, but it feels like the... Oh, you know why? Because the paragraph is concludes the bracket underneath it, which is a problem, right? Whoops. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at everything real quick and see how our changes are looking. So that ended up being fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, cool. Our patch is actually not looking too bad. All right. Cool, that was a pretty small patch. Now we have the C code calling our dark mode toggle hook. So one thing we got to do now is I'm gonna have to make you have to make this huge commit log of things that you did. So I'm gonna have to do one of these. wait, hold on. Let me see. How else? Was there anything else about how that was? We might want to argrep for dark mode C, because I realized maybe we missed MacOS, but I don't think MacOS has that actually. Yeah, look, it's only GTK util and W32 Win32, so I think we're fine. Add dark mode toggle hook called from PGTK and Win32. Okay, cool. So now I need to do this ugly file. So call dark mode toggle hook. Cool. Oh wait, wrong thing, right? C. Cool. Frame. Source frame Lisp frame.el, and then what I want to say I did there is, did I forget parentheses? I think I did everything in parentheses. Yes, functions have to be in parentheses. I forgot that. Okay, cool. Dark mode toggle hook. It's a var though. The vars don't have to be in parentheses when you do these Emacs logs. Dark mode toggle hook. Hook that is called when dark mode is toggled. Okay. I might have to add something to news too. I forgot about that. Cool. So the other one was source w32fns.c, and then the file we mentioned there is w32 apply theme, okay? And for that, what did we do? Call dark mode toggle hook. Okay, so they're both the same, and in fact, what you might want to do is I gotta say, I do have a bug where like my history gets messed up in terms of like the previous things I've cut. I have to figure that out too. Emacs configs are hard to maintain. Cool. So for the logs, we have GTK util C, call dark mode toggle hook, call dark mode toggle hook, and then Lisp frame to dark mode toggle hook, which we added as a def var, and then hook that is called when dark mode is toggled. Okay, cool. So I think we're almost there. By the way, let me see if the patch has ended in a period. Last time I sent a patch and they were pretty big on, okay, it doesn't have to end in a period, that's fine. Okay. So we need to add something Etsy news before I can do this. Okay. They might want to just combine this, but I don't know if I should do that or Emacs dark mode toggle hook. When dark mode is toggled on PGTK or Win32 builds, Emacs dark mode toggle hook is executed. Cool. I think that's good description. All right, so let's go and review our changes again. Emacs dark mode toggle hook called when dark mode is toggled. Dark mode is toggled on PGTK or Win32 builds. Emacs dark mode toggle hook is executed. All right. We added our def var dark mode toggle hook. And then we go ahead and call this. Let me see if these comments are... Man, it looks like these comments are necessary. Are they? I don't know if these comments are actually that necessary. It's kind of obvious what it's doing, right? Yeah, I don't think anyone who knows the code base would be confused about what's going on there. Cool. So we call this, we call this. Dark mode P. Where's dark mode P? Oh, I made an error. See, dark mode P, that doesn't exist here. Okay, cool. So W32 dark mode QT. That's QT is just true and no. I think that sounds good. You know, actually, I wonder if I need both of these, right? Because if it toggles dark mode. Actually, no, I think you want this triggered even though it doesn't follow, because you can do whatever you want with it. It's an optional argument, right? Let me just sanity check and do a rebuild real quick. Cool, rebuilt. Let's go ahead and just try Emacs again real quick. Cool. Eval buffer. Okay. Messages.